Mr. Former President, what is Melania's middle name?
Cohen's testimony seems to prove that Trump was directly involved in paying off Stormy Daniels. For instance, yesterday...
Dear Melania, I love you. Even after every single indictment, arrest, and witch hunt, you never left my side.
In recent episodes of Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, the two comedians worked together to criticize Donald and Melania Trump. Their comedic brilliance has brought attention to Trump's legal issues and his tumultuous relationship with Melania Trump. During his 2018 visit to France to pay his respects at the graves of American heroes, Donald Trump famously chose not to get his hair wet. On top of that, he seriously insulted them by calling them suckers and losers. When comparing Trump's horrible actions to Biden's morally good ones, Kimmel spares no adjectives. The recent legal disputes involving Trump, such as the suspension of his gun license, have given Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert plenty of fodder for their vicious parodies. Democracy has been fought for by veterans, but it appears like Trump is trying to undermine it. There are still many questions that have not been resolved. Take his family as an example. Where were they? Melania Trump has disappeared without a trace. The day of the verdict, she was in Manhattan, but she has never been in court or commented publicly on the trial. Melania Trump's already complicated relationship with Donald Trump is further complicated since Colbert brings up her absence for unsolved reasons. The comedic tone is maintained as Melania Trump, played by Laura Benanti, provides a humorous breakdown of the emotions and actions she is likely to exhibit during her trial. At the outset, Jimmy Kimmel made a humorous comment regarding a Trump advertisement. It seems like everything Trump does is for show, doesn't it?
That these people who work for Trump are so incompetent, they don't even think to not post a video.
We will take back our country on November 5th, 2024.
Oh, it's not something I ever need to see again. And I show that not to embarrass the former president, although I do enjoy doing that.
To rephrase, he is just about to burst at the seams with emotion right now. From that point on, I braced myself for him to unleash a savage howl at the moon. Melania likely thinks she is wed to a raccoon with a severe case of rabies. Never once has Trump denied being a victim and said that politics dictate his views. Kimmel quickly disproves these unfounded claims, exposing the logical errors in Trump's remarks. As much as Trump enjoys being in charge, he is clearly grappling with the consequences of the judicial system he had intended to influence. By mocking Melania Trump's apparent disinterest in and detachment from Trump's court struggles, Benanti's mimicry emphasizes irony and comedy. As he attempts to portray a positive image of his broken family to the public, Trump's behavior has sunk to a new level of insanity. Trump's recent threats of retaliation demonstrate his extreme dissatisfaction. Trump likely published the story in the New York Post that says his guilty decision has brought his family back together, including Melania and Ivanka's link. Due to Melania's long separation from him, this fantastical scenario is at odds with certain aspects of reality. There are far too many holes in Trump's facade to ignore his apparent efforts to influence public opinion through the media. Things are more difficult in relation to Donald Trump. After taking him to court after being mocked by comedians, his attorney is now bringing up Melania's absence from the hearings. Donald Trump's hush-money lawyer, Todd Blanche, made it clear that Melania Trump's decision not to attend the trial was not based on a lack of love or support for her husband. Melania Trump's absence from the trial was a mystery to many. Eric, who is Donald Trump's son, was the only Trump family member who traveled on a regular basis. The closing arguments last week were attended by him, Tiffany Trump, and her father, Donald Trump Jr. Stormy Daniels, a porn star, testified throughout the trial, claiming that she had an affair with Donald Trump in 2006, shortly after Melania gave birth to their son Barron.
You know, Donald Trump in 2018 infamously opted not to visit the graves of American soldiers in France. To his credit, did muster up something respectful because he didn't want to get his hair wet. And also, he called them suckers and losers. That's not a joke, even though the only thing that he ever stormed was Daniels.
Stephanie Grisham, a former advisor to Trump, has stated her belief that Melania Trump was able to get out of the trial unscathed. She was afraid that if she showed there, everyone would see her as feeble. Donald Trump was found guilty of all 34 of the felony charges against him for forging business paperwork to conceal payments he made to Stormy Daniels prior to the 2016 election. After their father's guilty verdict, some members of the Trump family, including Ivanka Trump, who had previously remained silent, released statements endorsing him. On the other hand, Melania Trump has remained silent on social media and in public statements, which could indicate that she is unhappy in her marriage to Donald Trump. Everything seems to revolve around the Trumps these days. In addition, Jimmy Kimmel is the best person to grill them. His jokes might keep on going for days, and he never holds back. In your opinion, are passion and love the key themes of Valentine's Day? Absolutely not, particularly considering Kimmel's target.
Today, as I'm sure you're aware, it is Valentine's Day. Posted a romantic message today. He wrote, "Biden is not too old, he's too incompetent." Closest Trump got to a Valentine today was an email they sent to his supporters. This is amazing, and it's real.
Melania and Trump. Jimmy Kimmel wasted no time getting the most out of this comedic treasure trove. His hilarious mocking of Trump and Melania on Valentine's Day is a prime example of this. The situation's ridiculousness provided the late-night host with fodder for amusing and entertaining insights. His joy knew no bounds. The highlight of the evening was undoubtedly Kimmel's joke about President Trump's email exchanges with his own supporters being the only thing he could have discovered that was similar to a Valentine's Day card. A scathing indictment of Trump's beliefs and his transactional approach to interpersonal relationships. Nonetheless, Kimmel did not end his remarks there. The second thing he did was imagine a thoughtful Valentine's Day message that Trump would pen for Melania Trump. "My love for you, Melania, has not wavered in the face of the many allegations, detentions, and witch hunts that have been launched against you." According to Kimmel, it sounds like a line from The Notebook, doesn't it? "I can always count on you."
I think that's a line from The Notebook, isn't it? It's to Melania, even graphically, it looks like a ransom letter, which I guess is fitting. Closest Trump got to a Valentine today was an email they sent to his supporters. This is amazing, and it's real, given Melania's current situation. But it says, "Dear Melania, I love you. Even after every single indictment, arrest, and witch hunt, you never left my side."
Kimmel couldn't contain his laughter. The analogy to the romantic comedy is a great approach to show how unromantic Trump's message is. However, Kimmel was far from finished. Even if Trump's comments were like a ransom letter, he could understand them in light of Melania's current situation. Despite its sarcastic tone, the remark serves to emphasize how Melania is generally thought of as someone who is trapped and unhappy in her marriage to Trump. As another example of Trump's egotism, Kimmel made fun of him by picturing a Valentine's Day card with a button that read, "Make a donation to St. Valentine's Legal Defense Fund," and a call for 100,000 responses now. Even Trump's tendency for hubris was mocked by Kimmel. An artistic take on Trump's continuing fundraising efforts and legal difficulties characterized this year's Valentine's Day gift. Kimmel wasted no time deflecting compliments about Trump's letter, which he dubbed a lovely and romantic gesture, by making fun of the transactional nature of Trump's relationships. Among all the offensive jokes on the show, this one was the worst. This joke hits close to home because it's based on real events. The highlight of Kimmel's presentation, though, was his analysis of Trump's alleged love letter to Melania Trump on Valentine's Day. After Jimmy made a remark about the letter's appearance resembling a ransom note rather than a Hallmark card, the audience went completely bonkers. Among their antics were snorting, guffawing, and knee-slapping. In the midst of all those people, it was like being a witness to a laughing fit. Kimmel's rendition of Biden's humiliating email conversation with Trump brought a smile to everyone's face. That Kimmel's performance would stand alone was the plan all along. It was fascinating to watch how drastically different the two presidents were. It was practically audible between bouts of laughing, the gasps of the home viewers. Did Kimmel cross the line when he mocked Trump and Melania? Still, some on social media did voice their opinions. Those comment sections have a way of becoming quite heated and annoying very fast. Some were scolding Jimmy, claiming he had overstepped his bounds by involving Melania in the situation. Compared to her husband, she is not exactly the one in charge of the political circus. For some reason, the distasteful part of it had them clutching their pearls. Whoa. At the time, Kimmel's supporters would say things like, "Hey, it's satire, baby, deal with it." Additionally, it received extensive coverage in the media, which resulted in the widespread publication of articles and opinion pieces. Members of the Kimmel is a comedic genius camp and the Has He No Shame camp were there. A feeling similar to that could be experienced by watching a tense game of ping pong where hot takes were used instead of small imitation balls. The vicious circle of animosity and counter-outrage is impossible to ignore. Is the response Kimmel received really important to him? I highly doubt it. His entire career has been based on generating chaos and controversy. Following Trump's statement, Colbert enumerates every potential outcome. As a result of the private legal troubles these ex-associates are experiencing, Trump's inner circle is disintegrating. Formerly trusted counselor Steve Bannon is now facing a contempt of Congress sentence that requires him to report to prison by July 1st. The conviction of Bannon has exposed the widespread dishonesty within Trump's inner circle. Kimmel and Colbert make fun of Trump's erratic behavior, so it's obvious that his support base is quickly draining.
How could any part of Donald Trump still be a mystery? Who am I thinking of?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. Oh, it's his words. Okay, Mr. Trump, it says here you got fired from your last job for being, terrible at it.
It is evident from Bannon's demise that Trump exhibited violent and unlawful behavior while in office. The selection of possible running mates by Trump reveals his predisposition to side with supporters who have opposed him in the past. The absurdity of their situation is brought to light by Kimmel, who also condemns the lack of integrity shown by Trump's fans and draws attention to the irony of their choices. The president's futile efforts to exert control over American citizens are evidence of this. According to Al Jazeera, President Trump has threatened retaliation and tried to tarnish the justice system's reputation in the past. He personally utilized the legal system to pursue his opponents, making his accusations of political persecution an example of the popular phenomenon known as projection. Trump went to extreme lengths, including accepting an award at an event honoring Melania at the Mar-a-Lago resort, in an outrageous effort to restore Melania's prominence in the public eye. As Trump's legal issues escalate, his increasingly erratic behavior is indicative of his emotional and public persona collapse. Kimmel shows how ridiculous Trump's predicament is, namely that he is running for president while serving a life sentence. This seeming contradiction exemplifies the disorder in American politics and the fact that the Republican Party continues to support Trump despite his legal issues. In response to the court's guilty verdict, Vice President Kamala Harris appears on Kimmel's show. Unlike Trump's assertion that he is a victim of his circumstances, her remarks highlight the gravity of the problem. The conversation focuses on the potential dangers associated with Trump's political ambitions. The hypocrisy of the former president is exposed by the questions raised by Kimmel and the truthful responses given by Harris.